What up, what up, what up, what up? Steeler Nation, what's happening, what's happening, what's happening? How are you guys doing, man? Have you guys recovered? Have you recovered from the shellacking that the Houston Texans gave to our Pittsburgh Steelers? Have you guys healed from that trauma? Are you still living in the misery? If you're like me and if you've watched film, boy, hurts a little deeper when you just kind of look at some of the stuff that transpired. And listen, man, I'm gonna dive right into the areas that I want to talk about tonight. I definitely want to get the phone calls popping. I'm gonna say this early, guys. I anticipate quite a few phone calls. I hope my guy Steel City Film Room is in here so I can get him on. It's a pleasure to have him on. Listen, if you want to guarantee that your call is answered, depending on the amount of calls, you could drop a super chat, quick donation with your area code, and let me know it's you, and I'll move you up the ladder. But first and foremost, welcome, man. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. And let me tell y'all, I think this shirt shrunk on me, man. Look at it. It's an extra large. I'm not a small fella. I'm not a big fella, but it looks like it shrunk on me a little bit. But let's get to it, man. Let's get to it. And let me say this too. I told you guys, man, I procrastinated today. I had a lot of stuff to do. Commuted from DC, then I had to go pick up my little man from his little basketball tryout and all of that. And I didn't get to move my stuff around. But like I said, eventually I'll be sitting back there, more of a relaxed view. I need to move the microphone. I need to move some of my extra stuff back there. Didn't have time to do it tonight, and I didn't want to keep you guys delayed. But eventually, let me turn it around. You will see me sitting back there, posted up, chilling, having a more chill effect. Because I'm a little tired of being right up on the screen. But again, once you see it from that perspective, I'll let you all decide which way you prefer to visualize the show. But let's say hello to the early commenters, man. Let's get that in and out, and I'm going to go right to what I want to talk about. What's up, Mr. Malvo? He says, the title has me interested. Oh, I'm getting there. He says, but I doubt it's going to match. But we'll see, because I see in reality and that in turn, it provides me with truth in the instance of truth. Let's see what you got, Sam. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to dive right into that, man. I'm really just going to hone in on Mike Tomlin, Matt Canada, Kenny Pickett, and the Steelers organization. And I'm going to be honest with y'all, I'm freestyling it for the most part. That's just what I do, too. I don't really write anything down. The only thing that you guys see me write down, of course, is, post-game, and I take notes. But my feelings and thoughts, I'm just going to freestyle it. And I think you guys will enjoy it. Let's see. Who else we got in here? Mark Cunningham, Y Diggy, After High School Show, Brent Fox, Brother Mark, No 412. There he is. What's up, Steel City? Steel City Film Room in the building. Joe Vlogs, Zuri Rivers, Chris Osu, Rajan 39. Hello, Lanisha. Lanisha in the building, guys. Y'all know we got to say hello and treat our lovely ladies with care. Hello, Lanisha. How you doing tonight? Glad to see you like always. Father-in-law in the building. Sade, another lovely lady of the chat. What's going on, Sade? Good to see you back. Think you was here the other day as well, so appreciate you tuning back in to your boy. Hope everything is good and well in your life. But make sure you say hello to our lovely ladies, folks. Fellas, don't forget that. Please treat them with care. Who else is in here? Steelers Cards, Jersey Boy, Noah Aguilar, Destiny. What's up, Destiny? Destiny in the building, too. The ladies is out, fellas. Say hello to them. They are out tonight. I love it. I'm going to read her comment, actually, because she got a little comment here. She says, Sim, clap, you keep mental receipts. Remember when I questioned why Hugh Jack didn't get the job as a proven and successful OC? Steelers should keep an eye on Kingsbury, Zach Robinson, Byron Leftwich, and Staley. Okay, yeah. Destiny, I do recall that. Listen, let me tell y'all, man, Destiny be making all kinds of points. good ones, especially when they actually come and premiere on the show. I'm telling you, our ladies know what they talking about, bro. They know. They are tuned in. What else we got? Steely McBeeman. Who else? Vista Light. Debbie, what's up, Debbie? Debbie in the building too, man. We got our leading ladies in here tonight. That's our core group right there. That's the core group. You know, and I say core because they was like some of the first, the originators. You know, Debbie, Sade, Destiny, who else? Lanisha, of course, and Odessa. Odessa was one of the originators as well. I'm not sure if she's on tonight, but of course, always here in spirit, man, because those ladies held us down. I remember that very first show, man, and you guys were a crowd favorite, so we love the ladies, man. Make sure y'all take care of them. I'm going to read a few more names, and then we'll get out of here. Claude Bishop. State of the Steelers. Oh, man, that's a great name. Faith Balboa. Excuse me. I can't read. Falky Balboa. For whatever reason, when I glanced at it, I saw Faith. My bad. And the infamous Tim. What's good? All right, man. First, what we're going to do is talk a little bit of injuries. And I'm just going off of memory from listening to Tomlin's presser. Mike Tomlin said that Dan Moore is categorized as out, so we're going to see Broderick Jones even more. I got to continue going through the tape so I can focus on him. I think he had, from what I remember, pretty much a rookie performance. It's expected. But again, I watched it all 22 in sections, and you guys who are members of the channel, I got that coming to y'all soon as well. Y'all know I try to get that to you on Thursday, by Thursday. Last week I was a little bit late and I got it to you on Friday, but I think so far, channel members, what I'm going to focus on, I think we're going to look at the offensive line and Kenny Pickett. I think that's going to be our main focus. So I will scan through and get a decent chunk of plays, and I think you all enjoyed how I presented it last week. Very much more productive, right? Just finally, the all 22 has worked the way I needed it to work, and I can go to individual plays. So I think that's what we're going to focus on. But anyway, haven't fully watched the entire offensive line, so I got to just take a look at Broderick Jones and see how he did and didn't do. But it sounds like he will be starting. Also, Pat Fryermuth, I believe Tomlin said that he would more than likely be out as well. Kenny Pickett, actually, he categorized the injury as a bone bruise. So far, it doesn't appear to be an MCL or whatever, any type of sprain, bone bruise. He is set to participate tomorrow. And of course, you know, the patent phrase, let his participation be the guide. And we'll see. And I think he might have said the same thing about Presley Harvin. And I could be misremembering that. So if any of you guys remember something differently, please correct me. But I want to say that Muth as well as Dan Moore were more so ruled out. But I could be wrong. But you guys will correct me in the chat. So I will say it's interesting, man. I hate to say it like this, but I wonder if Kenny actually plays, will his lower leg injury keep him in the pocket? It's one of his biggest problems, is staying in that pocket. So let's get to it. Because I don't want to spend too much time on my topic. Let me see how many of you all are in here really quick, because that a lot of times I stall a little bit until I get a decent amount of you guys viewing. Okay, we over 100 viewers, because I want a lot of y'all to hear my main point and not have to miss it. Then we'll open it up to phone calls. So here we go, guys. Like I said, I'm freestyling this. The truth versus reality. The way I worded that is really just us recognizing what's the truth and what's reality. Sometimes the line blurs. It really does. What is one of those things that blurs? A lot of people will say, and even media pundits, and before I get started, I'm going to pick with my father-in-law just for a second, because he might not know. Excuse me, he might not know this. But, and I saw the message you sent to me, but I didn't have a chance to reply back to it. At the time, I was busy at work. But you sent a message to me from, what's that guy's name? Filipponi? Is it Andrew Filipponi? And what I'm just going to say about him is he's almost like a Colin Cowherd of Twitter. Dog, you can't really go off of the stuff that they say. Sometimes they're right, but sometimes they are just so over the top, because the Filipponi dude has had some of the most outlandish takes on numerous topics when it concerns the Steelers. You should never take him seriously. You just never should. I mean, this dude he's da-dun. I'm just going to say that. And no disrespect to you, Filipponi, but bruh. So, father-in-law, don't read into anything he's talking about. I mean, it's just like I would say just about life. You know, I was always taught to, you listen to everything and you can take truths out of even, you know, you take what you need to hear from it and throw the rest back. You really got to do that with guys like Filipponi. Because a lot of times he's just yiggity yakking. Okay? Now, if that's his opinion, because this particular post was about him saying Mike Tomlin was overrated. And if that's your opinion, fine. Just like some of y'all will say the same thing. If that's your opinion, fine. I'm not going to argue opinions. It's just that his points are so outlandish. You never know what to believe coming out of that guy's mouth or coming from his Twitter fingers. And I would just say this quickly about Mike Tomlin, and because I'm going to get into Mike Tomlin as well, but just this quick aside. As Steelers fans, whether we like Mike Tomlin or not, I do think it's a stretch for someone to say that he's overrated, and this is the reason why. What's the measuring stick? If we're talking about Super Bowl wins, I can understand that, but how many other, coaches during his tenure have more than one Super Bowl ring? We're talking about a couple guys. We're talking about Andy Reid. We're talking about Bill Belichick, right? And I'm taking my Steelers hat off. I'm taking any type of bias off. I'm just literally saying, if you measure success during his tenure for the duration, I mean, it's hard to argue the success. Have not won any more than the one Super Bowl, correct? But just look at some of those seasons. I'm going to blame Coach Tomlin quite a bit tonight on the show. There's some things I got to get into. Because, again, it's not perfect. But I just think sometimes people gravitate to whatever narrative makes them feel better. I try not to do that as a fan. And I think what's really helped me to do this, guys, is doing this show. And now I put myself before you guys as somewhat of a coverer, if that's a real word, of the Steelers. I'm not a media guy. I'm not a journalist or nothing like that. I'm just a diehard fan that knows a little football, knows the organization, and I try to just use my logic, when I give my opinions. And in doing this publicly to you guys has allowed me to keep somewhat of an even keel as a fan. During the game, I'm going crazy. Man, I'm going off just like y'all. But then I'm like, bring it back down. Talk about what's really going on. You know what I mean? So when I look at it from that standpoint, yes, man, y'all know I get on this team for the Killer B era. I think that was the time to win the Super Bowl. Oh, my God, the Jacksonville Jaguar playoff game. I mean, my heart is still torn out from that era because with all of that offense, we just never could get the defense right. Never had, seemed like, the right personnel defensively, and teams would just pick us apart. What an embarrassment playing New England in that AFC Championship game, it just, after that hard-fought game at Kansas City on the road, and, again, our head coach is a defensive guy, so of course I look right at him to be like, man, what's going on? Some people would also say, hey, the Steelers draft position affected that. Possibly. But here's what's funny. Like, there's times that us as fans will make points in one direction, but then it's like we completely negate those points in another direction, but it's the same point. So which one is it? Is it that they haven't been able to draft enough talent, or is it the worst coaching staff in the business? We can't have it both ways. But anyway, let me get to my points, man. I think I'm going to start with the reality. The Pittsburgh Steelers organization is the reason why I think we're seeing some of the failures that we're seeing now and that we've seen over the last few years in terms of not, excuse me, getting over that hump or progressing further. Here's a piece of truth for you. Pittsburgh Steelers have been in decline for Ben Roethlisberger's last 2 to 3 seasons. Okay. Aging quarterback, can't move anymore. Okay, that's fair. He had a solid year. What was that, 2019? But then from there, he kind of, or was it 2020? One of those years he had a solid season. I don't remember now, but of course he's been on a decline. Think about it. If we're being real with ourselves, let's all be real with ourselves for a moment and be on the same page, regardless of what side of the spectrum you're on. We all start seeing a decline in Ben Roethlisberger, if we're being honest, right? So with that, we started playing a certain style of football. A lot of us felt like that was holding us back. A lot of us kind of felt like, man, you know what we don't do that New England does? They seem to get rid of people when they need to. Not necessarily saying Ben, I'm just using it as an example. So we all would surmise at that point, okay, this team is going through a rebuild, blah, blah, blah. They're going to have to revamp, yada, yada, yada. And we all know that, but then the team tells you we're not rebuilding, we're reloading, blah, 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 blah. And they do a couple of things that they don't traditionally do, and they trade for Minkah Fitzpatrick, a first-round pick, and they move up, they get Devin Bush and all of that. Then they draft a quarterback in the first round, which they didn't have to budge on, right? You're thinking, okay. But the truth is, this team is still in rebuild mode. We're all just frustrated because we haven't won in a long time. But think about it. Go all the way back to like 2019. This team has been kind of in the same rut since then. And it's hard to acknowledge and accept because we're seeing these poor games like the game against Houston and the game against the Niners. And we're like, man, this team is horrible. But when you just look at we don't have a championship team. We really don't. Our best run defender is an aging Cam Hayward who's no longer on the field. Our, in my opinion, best secondary player in Minkah Fitzpatrick, for whatever reason, Mike Tomlin and Terrell Austin, y'all want to take this guy out the middle of the field. What are y'all doing? Like, seriously, what are y'all doing? I've seen Minkah move around more this season so far than it seemed like he did last season. Why do y'all keep moving him out of the center field or moving him away from his post safety position? I understand he's versatile, but when what you're trying to do with him and use his versatility isn't working, coach, plan B or back to plan A, actually. What's happening? I rewatched that play, man, when homeboy scored the touchdown in front of Levi Wallace. The first one. Minkah is up on the line. And I know it's goal line, but he's up on the line. And then, of course, Minkah reacts to the play action, leaving the middle of the field, middle of the end zone wide open. And remember, Sunday in my knee-jerk reaction, I was like, Levi Wallace, why would you play outside leverage and nobody's in the middle? I didn't realize where Minkah was lined up until I rewatched the game. Some of this stuff is scheme. Some of this stuff is the position that you're putting these players in. Don't understand it. Don't understand it. So let's get back to the truth really quick about the Steelers organization. Loyalty. Loyalty, they are slaves to loyalty. And it's becoming growingly apparent. It's growing like a lot, the way I can't deny this anymore. We like to say, most people in the media will say, Mike Tomlin should have done this. He should have fired Matt Canada last year. Da. Fair opinion. But the truth is, and I want you older fans to please give me the information because I might not know. If we go all the way back to, let's say, the latter years of Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher, and Mike Tomlin, do you guys recall a positional coach being fired? Not, allowing the contract to expire and they don't bring him back. I'm asking, do you guys recall a coach or a position player being fired after the season or during the season? I'm going to wait for a moment because I don't know. I'm asking some of you guys who were around watching the Steelers in the 70s and all of that. Has that ever happened? And if it has happened, how often? Richard Taylor says never. Okay. Kenyon says they were 0 positional coaches fired in the no era. Okay. Okay. Now, to me, this seems to be true because I've never seen it. I've never seen it. I have never seen it since I have intently been watching the Steelers. I told you guys, sure, was I alive when guys like Maddox and them played? Absolutely. But I didn't really intently, I remember Neil O'Donnell and all of that, but I didn't intently watch the Steelers until probably around the way I watch now, probably like around 2000. Somewhere around there was when I really started really investing in watching each and every game, not just the game, but learning the dynamics of the team, right? So before that, I don't know. But most of you guys are in here saying it's never happened. So here's the truth. Y'all try to put that on Mike Tomlin. No, that's an organization thing. Dan Rooney always said that. Do y'all remember little Dan Rooney? They always talked about loyalty, and that came from Art Rooney, the first. They always talked about loyalty, family environment, yada, 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 right? So the thing is, and listen, I'm telling y'all, I got my beefs with the coach that I do like in Mike Tomlin. I got some beefs to throw out at him tonight. Whoa, pause. But I'm saying, that's a truth because none of us have ever seen it. So I just don't understand why some of you all seem to not understand that when it comes to the current coach. I don't understand why he didn't. Well, you ain't never seen it happen. So to me, the truth would be the Steelers don't do that. Here's another reality. Well, truth and reality. Mr. Art Rooney II and any of the other Rooney families who are still tied to the team and any of the other owners, minority owners, it's time for change. I need y'all to come up off of that. I need y'all to stop being so stuck in your ways and being so married to loyalty. Loyalty is one thing, but when you're not doing the job right, most people get fired. Most people get relieved of their duty. There's not a job that I ever worked on where they allowed me to continue to not do my job until the end of the year. And then they said, okay, no, I'm sure I would get fired right away. I need y'all to start exercising that. And that goes for every position. Here's a little bit of truth. I do like stability. I do like the fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers don't always keep jumping ship and keep getting new coaches. But like I said on Sunday, I'm not going to argue with anybody right now who feels like, man, Mike Tomlin's time may be up. This is his 17th year. Sometimes that's just the fact. Sometimes a new voice needs to be heard. Sometimes a new philosophy needs to come in the door. Now, here's the truth that I'm going to say about Mike Tomlin that it seems to be true. I don't know this as to be a fact. What I do believe is, okay, he doesn't have the autonomy to fire. Because I just explained that. Y'all said it yourselves. You've never seen it. So stop expecting him to do it. But here's something that seems to be true. Seems like Mike Tomlin likes to hire from within. I think Mike Tomlin said as much before. Remember when we were going through the process of looking for offensive coordinators? Hey, he even brought in guys like Pep Hamilton, I think. Interviewed other guys. But you promoted Matt Canada. That's a fault. Because as many of you people have pointed out, what has he done in the NFL that showed that? Now, let me pause and say that doesn't necessarily mean you have to have coach in the NFL, but what I will say is Canada's resume wasn't great. He bounced around even in college. Didn't really stick around anywhere. It's very possible Mike Tomlin got familiar with him doing his Maryland tender, with his son playing and all that. He's very close to Maryland, the Maryland Terps. And so I do fault him for hiring from within because we have heard that he does have the full autonomy. Am I saying the word right? Autonomy. He has that ability to hire his staff. That one's on you. That one's on you. And what did you see in this guy's philosophy that made you believe that it would work? Let me tell you what me and Kenyon saw in Matt Canada that seemed promising. We remember when Anthony McFarland was at Maryland. All of that motion. Not just motion, but the shifting around. I mean, they'll shift 3-4 times before a play. You don't know what's happening. I was like, oh, that's cute. Some of the concepts. Oh, that route. Oh, that's cute. So here's why I blame Tomlin again. You're watching Matt Canada call the same plays over and over and over with no real changes. Y'all don't believe it? Let me give you some truth. How many times have you guys sat on your own couch and you called the play? You pretty much knew what it was going to be. Here's another truth. My man, Alex Kazor, said on their most recent podcast that play to Calvin Austin, with the little shallow cross and then try to hit the post behind it. We've literally run that same play 12 times so far this season. I want to remind you guys that this was week 4. I also want to remind you guys, I don't think the Steelers, I haven't looked at the stats, but I don't think the Steelers have run more than 100 offensive plays. Maybe. I could be misjudging that, but y'all know what I'm saying? We barely on the field. We lead the league in 3 and outs, or at least tied. And within that little bit of time, you managed to run the same play 12 times? In fact, Steven Nelson said that he knew it was coming. Now, that could just be some talk, but I will say this. Steven Nelson can't run as fast as Calvin Austin, but did you see his position on that coverage? Beautifully stayed over top of that. Here's another thing that I'll say for you guys who will see the all-22 footage when I post it. George Pickens was open on that play. Leaking out the right sideline. One-on-one. And yes, you're right. Force works. Ball was underthrown. But it's still, it's the fact that these play calls are, okay, you want to take that one off the board? And I'm just saying that as an example. Do y'all know how many times I sent a few of the plays to Kenyon and Tony last night? I can't count the amount of times on 3rd and medium or 3rd and long that Matt Canada runs at least 3 verticals in the route combination. And I'm not just talking about a deep route, like a route that's a deep square in or deep out, because it looks like vertical because you go about 7-8 yards. No. Actual verticals. Where at least 3 guys are going straight up the field or they're going into a post. And you have one guy running a 7-yard curl route, the tight end. It is pathetic. So that's the truth about Matt Canada. This guy sucks. I'm sorry. I tried to hold out. Y'all remember, right? I kept saying, maybe he can't do what he wants to do with Ben. Give him a shot. Last year. Hey, now he has more of a mobile guy in Kenny, and Kenny's a rookie. Maybe that's the reason why they didn't open it all the way up. Let's see what he does this year. And this year, it's the same, if not worse. I'm telling y'all, if you don't believe me, go watch the All-22 for yourself. Look at 3rd downs and look at how many times you see guys in vertical routes from 11 personnel. It is horrendous. I want you to go look at all of the games from this year and look at the times when teams was playing us man coverage and it's straight vertical routes and he's asking Kenny Pickett to just make a throw. Just throw it up and see what happens. It's pathetic. I don't like to call for nobody's job because let me tell you something. I don't know Matt Canada. I don't know his family. So I'm not the type of person as a human being. Yes, I'm a Steelers fan, but I'm not the person that wishes for anybody to lose money and lose their job. But I will say this. Matt Canada needs to not be the offensive coordinator for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I would love to see the Steelers organization make a decision to move on from this guy now. Not the norm of allowing the, we're going to allow the contract. No. He got to go now. Here's another embarrassing stat that I didn't even know. And I'm sorry, guys. I'm going on, man. It's 30-something minutes. I'm my bad. It's going to be one of those shows. I did not notice. This is why I told you guys I love, other outlets that give real information. Primarily, I love Steelers Depot for the work they do over there, man. I'm always chatting at, reaching out to those guys on Twitter. Wonderful coverage because they are actual, they actually cover the team from top to bottom. And I had no idea. Do you guys know since 2021, when Matt Canada became the offensive coordinator, the Pittsburgh Steelers have not had one single game where there was 400 or more yards total for the offense. Not one. What's even more staggering is they said that every other team in the NFL has had at least 4 400-yard games since 2021. Steelers have 0. That's a serious problem. In today's NFL, there should be no reason why you can't scheme up passing yards of 250 to 300 a game, right? And then can you get 80, 90, 100 yards on the ground here and there? That is pathetic. Yes, J.R. Minor, wow, that's how I felt. That is a staggering stat. That is a huge truth. But here's some reality for y'all. A lot of y'all are saying Mike Tomlin has to go. Mike Tomlin's contract expires in 2024. So the reality is you're going to see him the rest of this season. You're going to see him next season. Here's another reality. He does not have a losing season under his record, right? That might mean something to the organization because it keeps the organization relevant. Now, after that point, it would be 18 years. Might be time for them to move on, but I would just like to remind you of Chuck Noll and Bill Cowher. How long did they coach? So the reality is I wouldn't expect what some of y'all are hoping. I have come to the point, like I said, after 17 years, hey, I like the coach, but there's always time for things to move on. So if they decided that they wanted to move on, I wouldn't oppose it. It's been 17 years. And like I said, after next year, it would be 18 years. But for all of y'all that think that he's going to go now, it's not happening. Is he on the hot seat? Seat might be a little warm. I don't know how hot it is. But that's the reality that you need to live in. You're stuck with your coach. You're stuck with Coach Tomlin until the end of the 2024 season, bare minimum. Matt Canada, on the other hand, come on, man. He's got to go. He's got to go. And like I said, I see, a lot of comments in reference to Mike Tomlin and against him. Like I said, man, I'm not here to argue your opinions. I'm trying to help you guys deal with reality. And yeah, it's playoff wins and all of that is a reality too. We have not won a Super Bowl since. You're right. But always remember business, guys. That's all I'm going to tell you. Remember business. Remember business from this standpoint, the reality and the truth that we know about the Steelers organization. They're loyal. And also, because of not having a losing season, that generates this. It keeps people's butts in that seat. It keeps them a talk. It's the reason why some of y'all are sick right now, is because we've had that consistency. That is what organizations look for. But I will say their loyalty is biting them in the butt. That's why we are where we at right now. Here's another truth. This is the last thing I think I'm going to say. Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett has now played the equivalent of a full season. Just one. My concern for Kenny Pickett is growing. I'm going to start this off by saying I do think there's time for Kenny Pickett to fix his warts. But my concern for him is growing, and I'm going to explain to you why in a second. Here's another reality for you. The Steelers are not drafting a quarterback next year. I don't know this to be a fact, but I could almost guarantee that the Steelers allowed Kenny Pickett to play out this season and next before they're looking to move on a first-round quarterback, before they're looking to draft another first-round quarterback. So guess what? There's two people that y'all don't like that you're stuck with, at least through 2024. Mike Tomlin and Kenny Pickett. You don't have to be mad at me. You don't have to rant in the chat. I'm just giving you the facts. Kenny might not be it. You might be right. My concern is growing, and I was just trying to defend him a couple games ago, but my concern is growing, and I'm going to tell y'all why in a second. But the reality is it doesn't matter. It don't matter today because he is the quarterback. And I'm pretty much willing to guarantee he will be the quarterback through the 2024 season unless something drastically goes wrong. Because here's the truth. Most of us in this chat, we don't like Matt Canada, right? Can I get a show of hands or a show of yes and no's of how many of you all like Matt Canada? Yay or nay? And I'm going to let you guys answer that before I finish my point. Thank you for the donation, God7, man. Round of applause. Thank you very much for the donation. Look at all those no's about Matt Canada, right? So can I ask you this? If we don't like what Matt Canada is doing, his scheme, et cetera, does part of that hurt the quarterback? Did Ben Roethlisberger flourish in Canada's scheme his last season? That's all I'm saying. That is the only reason why I'm saying I can't be completely out on Kenny. But let me tell you some truths about Kenny. Kenny Pickett, I'm gonna say this really closely. Sir, somebody please send this to Kenny Pickett. Can I ask you a question, Mr. Pickett? What has happened to you since the latter half of last season? Last 4 or 5 games. What happened? What happened to you since preseason of this season? The funny thing is about Mr. Pickett, I wouldn't be giving him these chances if I didn't see him play better than he's playing. I'm here to tell y'all, Kenny Pickett is playing awful right now. Whether it's accuracy, decision-making, or, here's the biggest one, he bails out of clean pockets consistently. It's almost like he's in his own head now. Listen, I'm going to stick by this statement. I have seen enough from Kenny Pickett to believe that the Steelers could be winning with him if he gets his head on. If he gets his head on straight, I think the Steelers can win with him. It's hard for me to say if he's going to be a franchise guy. He's not showing me franchise guy vibes. Even when he plays well, he still doesn't quite have that. But I think Kenny Pickett has enough skill, if he cultivates it, to win. To at least give the Steelers a fighting chance. But right now, I'm not even seeing that. I don't understand what this kid is doing sometimes. He's either missing on some guys who are wide open. He's gun shy in some situations. There's some situations he's overly confident. And here's the worst one of them all, which we've seen both Mitch Trubisky and Mason Rudolph do this as well. staring down the target. Man, I'm telling you, some of these plays that I watched, it looks like Kenny has already decided where he's going. There's no reading the field. There's no progression happening. But I'm telling you guys, and I'm going to share it with y'all, the guys that are joined to the channel, we looking at Kenny Pickett this week in the 22 until he went out of the game. Because I want to literally see, is he reading anything? I want to see, is it pressure in his face? There was times that I already saw on the TV tape, guys, that the pocket was clean. And he bailed. Do y'all remember? I talked about this last season. Matter of fact, for you guys who've been rocking with me, y'all remember me saying this exact statement after we drafted him and I scouted him? I was like, he has a tendency to bail to his right a lot. That hasn't gone away. But now he's also now spinning out to the left. He's concerning me. He's concerning me. I'm growing concerned, man. Because it's, like I said, and this will be my last statement about him. I have personally seen Kenny Pickett play better. We all have. I'm going to make that bold statement. Some of y'all just don't like him, and that's fine. You just don't like his talent or whatever. We all should be able to agree that we've seen him play better. We've seen him be serviceable. What happened? What happened? Not reading the field, not going through progressions, happy feet in the pocket, bailing clean pockets, inaccurate. But then you was accurate last week when you hit the deep shot to Austin. Tried to throw the same thing in this game, even though Nelson had good coverage, and you throw it short. The inconsistent. You see what I'm saying? But that's going to happen. The best quarterbacks throw bad balls sometimes, but Kenny Pickett has somehow regressed from preseason. That is a problem. So the only thing I am giving Kenny Pickett, I understand the Steelers are going to stick with you this season and more than likely next. I'm giving you time to correct it, kid. But you're on a short leash as far as my mind of me thinking that you could be anything. I mean, franchise quarterback, that ain't even in my mind right now. I need to see this dude just be solid. And I've been holding out for him. Like I said, I'm not jumping ship yet. He gotta show me the ugly. Probably about, I will fully assess him at the end of the season. Unless he just really starts playing in the tank, for the next 6-7 games. But Kenny, I don't have a positive vibe right now. And I listen, like I said, I am still of the mindset that Matt Canada is not doing him any favors. So I'm only critiquing Kenny Pickett on the times that he has opportunities. So hope you guys understand the difference. Yes, Matt Canada is not doing him any favors. Matt Canada is putting him in a lot of situations where he has to throw a 50-50 ball, even when it's a quick slant, right? And defenses are able to read exactly what we're doing. They're taking things away. We're not doing anything to be creative at all. It's so vanilla. But I have to judge Kenny Pickett on those times when he's bailing clean pockets and when he's missing throws. That is on you, sir. When the pocket is clean and you bail, or the pocket is clean and you throw the ball, you should be able to control your accuracy. That part I can't put on your coordinator. So that's my truth and reality. There's some truths there that we just can't overlook, as well as the reality. That's what I got, man. I'm going to take a few phone calls, man. It's not looking good right now, folks. I'm not liking the Steelers team being a second half team. It really drives me crazy, man. I don't like it. I don't like that we can't just get going. And, it's funny because we're sitting at 2-2, but it feels like 0-4. 2-2 feels like 0-4. And going into this Raven game, I have zero confidence that the Steelers can get anything done because they can't stop. Oh, that's the last thing I'm going to say. That defense. They can't stop the run to save their lives. They couldn't stop a running faucet right now. They just be turning. They couldn't stop running water. It's bad, bro. Mike T, you and Terrell Austin, man. But here, you know what? One last thing. Here's the thing that confuses me. You listen to Mike Tomlin's press conference or just hear him talk about football. He knows what he's doing. Take your feelings aside. Listen to how he breaks down what happened in the game, how he breaks down what other opponents did well against us, how he breaks down what they have to look out for the next opponent. He knows football, which is even more baffling because it's like, in game, it's almost like y'all just stick to the script so long. I mean, we've heard stories where players say, oh, Tomlin is over there chefing up plays in the middle of the game. We heard many players say how much of an X's and O's guy he is, but we don't see it. That's the most confusing. The way he walks and talks and breathes football, and we can clearly hear he knows what he's talking about. We don't see the product reflecting that at all times. You know, the execution is just not there. And like I said, man, players execute, coaches call plays, but it's a combination of both right now that's just not good enough. I saw a play, man, where, boy, the Texans just borrowed other guys' playbooks, man, and they went empty. And for whatever reason, we were in that. I mean, I know why we were, because of the personnel. We were in our base defense. They went empty, and we stayed in man coverage. Man. Well, you got guys like Highsmith now essentially playing the slot, and you stay in man? I mean, anybody who's anybody knows that your better chance is to play zone when you got dudes out there that ain't really supposed to be dropping in coverage. That's supposed to be a check by whoever's wearing the green helmet. Check, 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 check. Or are they being taught to do that? I'm going to take a few calls. I'm going to tell y'all right now, there's no way I'm getting through all of these. So I'm going to take a few. If you want to guarantee that I answer it, you can leave a super chat. If not, I'll have to catch you another time. What I will do, though, and I'm going to just be honest and be fair, Steel City, if you can tell me your area code, I will bring you on because he's never called before. So I'm not ashamed in saying that. Some of you guys call every week, which I love, but I definitely want to hear what he has to say. So that's one person I will move up and make sure I get him in. No. Steel City Film Room. Not Steel City Dynasty, my bad. And again, I hate to separate you guys, but Steel City Film Room is somebody I really want to hear from. So I'm just going to take it upon myself to definitely take his call. But all right, let me knock some of these calls out, man. First up, area code 951. What you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Thanks for taking my call.
Yes, sir.
I'll make it quick because I know we get a lot of calls. First thing is watching the Texans game, when you have a rookie coaching staff along with the rookie quarterback who offensively wasn't able to run the ball against anyone. They faced us, and they were able to do everything to us. I think that points to schematics, man, and coaching. And I think the Steelers are outdated when it comes to both offense and defense. I mean, I like Highsmith and TJ and Mika. I think they got good players. But it seems like we can't come up with new ways and new ideas and adjust in-game, during games, to be able to counter what teams are doing. That's been a struggle consistently. And as far as Kenny, man, I mean, I think it's important to find a way to get somebody in there that can help him with his growth. Steelers fans, I get it. He has been playing good. This is the second year. A lot of quarterbacks have down years. I think the Steelers have a good reason with the coordinator. We got to get somebody in there that can help Kenny grow. And a lot of people saying Najee ain't the guy. I think the Steelers drafting players and signing players, but they're not signing or looking for these right coaching coordinators to make the best use out of those guys. Najee ain't no slum. He ain't no bum.
No.
So I just think that, you know, they're mismatched. They got their way of doing things and coaching, but the players they got don't go too good. If they can get it right, get some guys in there that can help out Kenny and help out that offense of turning around. That's all I got. Thank you.
Man, thanks for the call. I definitely want to comment really quick on two things you said. Guys, Najee, we talked about it last week. A lot of times defense in the backfield before he gets off. Najee actually played hard in that game. What an effort on that catch. What a run later in that game. Najee's not the problem. Kenny Pickett, absolutely, you are fully correct. Listen, guys, I know he hasn't played well, and I'm growing concerned too, but I also have the wherewithal to know somebody's got to develop him. We got to give him a real chance to fail. So if we got the best coordinator in the world and he still can't get it done, he ain't the guy at all. But I recognize his problems, but it's really hard to put a lot on his shoulders understanding how bad Matt Canada is. Man, Steel City, I'm going to get you on right now, man, to make sure we get your call. He is area code 540. That's Virginia. What's going on, Steel City? What you got for us?
Hey, Sim, I just put it in the chat. He's the same area code as me. So I was hoping to say I hope we don't get confused.
Oh, that's all right.
But I'll make it quick.
Yeah, I'll get him.
I'll make it quick so you can get him on. Because you guys all basically just touched on anything that I wanted to say. My biggest thing is the development of Kenny. But all the Tomlin haters that want to say, you know, we got to fire Tomlin, and I'm not going to object to any criticisms against him, especially for the past 2 seasons. But he's never been an X's and O's coach. He's always been a player's coach, a leader of men type of coach. Mm-hmm. And, you know, if you look back at when we were successful, you know, like, you know, our defense is run by the defensive coordinator. Dick LeBeau ran the defense when he got there. Bruce Arians ran the offense. Then Todd Haley ran the offense. When Todd Haley left, and I know people can say what they want to about Todd Haley, that is the best offense the Steelers as a whole, at least in recent history. You can debate about the 70s. That's the best our offense ever was. You can say what you want to about Todd Haley with his play calling, but the man knew how to scheme. He knew how to draw up plays. And he brought the best out of what we had. You know, AB might have been a generational talent at one point, but he was made better by the calls that were designed to get him open. That's my biggest complaint about Canada is there is no play design. We have weapons. They're not nothing's being designed to get them the ball. They're cookie cutter plays. You even pointed it out earlier tonight. We're running the exact same plays. Why is it if we can sit? You said it to me in the chat a couple of weeks ago. You said you wanted me to you wanted to hear the argument against things. You didn't want to just hear the criticism. I can sit here in my living room watching the game live and guess what? Me as a fan, I can guess the play as they go to the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
If you're a defensive coordinator or a professional defensive player who's been studying film all week long to stop you, it can't be that hard for them to figure it out at the line of scrimmage. Even this past weekend, the pick from the corner that used to play from us, he even said in an interview, We went to the line, and I'm paraphrasing, but they went to the line. It was the exact same play they ran last week. We already knew it was coming. It was easy to guard. I mean, when you got defenders saying they know your plays at the line of scrimmage, I mean, that's my criticism with them. It's not so much I'm saying, I mean, obviously he needs to be fired, but the legitimate reason is for all the stats you put up earlier. Being the only team in the NFL not to be able to get to 400 yards, I don't think our offense, I might be wrong, but I don't think our offense has scored more, more than 14 points in 4 games this year. And that is play design. And the offensive coordinator's main job is to get his playmakers the ball, design the plays. And if he can't do that successfully, then he shouldn't be employed. He shouldn't have a job. And that is a direct result of what I think, from my perspective, that's why we're seeing Kenny regress. Is because not only do they got the film from this year in the first 4 games to go off of, they have the games from last year. The plays haven't changed. And I think that's why you're seeing the regression. But I'm going to go, Sim. Thanks for letting me talk, man.
Man, no problem. Thanks for the call. And you told us a story. You told us you was going to be quick. But no, I appreciate the call, man. Yes, listen. Yeah, I don't even have to say anything else to that. Everybody has already chimed in on that. Canada, man. All right, I think I got Steel City on the line now, man. 540. What's going on, man?
What's going on, Sim?
Nothing much, man. What's going on?
So I'll try and keep this quick. I do have a lot of stuff I'm going to try and go over. If I go too long, you always have the ability to cut me off. But I want to start with the Mike Tomlin thing. So a lot of people seem to be, wanting him to get fired or thinking he's on the hot seat and all this. And I do agree with what you said. At least it's going to be at least another 2 years with Tomlin because he got a contract going until 2024. But I want to make a little comparison to the other team I support in a different sport. I'm a Chelsea fan, and they're over there in England. And I just want to show y'all that, it can be a lot worse than what it is right now with the Steelers because since they got new ownership about a year ago, they have had 5 head coaches, whereas the Steelers have had 3 since 1968, 1969. They have had 5 coaches in 1 year. In 1 year, 5 coaches. Steelers, 3 coaches in 60 years.
Wow.
So, 2 polar opposite situations. I think Steelers fans have a lot to be grateful for in terms of the stability that the Steelers have as an organization. But does not make Tomlin perfect, and his ability to hire a competent offensive coordinator has been an issue really since we had Bruce Arians in the early 2010s. And I do agree that Canada probably needs to go, and he's not the right guy for the job. But not only do I think that the Steelers just probably aren't going to fire him, so it's not the way they do business, and we know that. But I think that their mentality of not firing coaches mid-season is not really the issue. It's more so the fact that they can't seem to find a good offensive coordinator. Because we know Matt Canada is not good enough. I think we would all agree that Randy Fichtner was not great. And I think Todd Haley wasn't terrible, but I think most of the reason he had success was he had AB, and he had Le'Veon Bell, and he had Big Ben. Easy to have a good offense when you got that level of talent. And I think for the Steelers in general this season, I think they're going to end up when you get guys like Deontay Johnson back from injury, Pat Freiermuth's now out with injury. When he gets back, you get some of those rookies, Joey Porter and Keanu Benton and whoever else playing. You get Deontay Johnson back from injury, Cam Hayward back from injury. I think when you get all those guys healthy after the bye week and we get things gelling, I think the team is going to look similar to what we saw last season in the year, and they're going to start playing well. But I think if you have a guy like Matt Canada as the offensive coordinator, you're not really going to see this team live up to the potential that they have and really compete for a Super Bowl and compete with teams like Kansas City, compete with teams like Buffalo, compete with teams like Cincinnati even though I think we beat them last year, first week of the season. And the last thing I'll say here is, and I said this in the comments on Sunday, but the defense giving up 30 points to the, Texans, it's bad because we should not be giving up 30 points to a rookie QB and giving up like $130 and 2 touchdowns to Nico Collins, although he is a good receiver, but he ain't that good. I think for like 30 points, you're going to give up 30 points in the NFL sometimes.
Yeah.
When you get to the playoffs, you play teams like Kansas City, you play teams like Buffalo. Even if you get to a Super Bowl, you play a team like San Francisco, or you play a team like Philly, you're going to give up 30 points possibly in one of those games. Your defense is going to have like an all-time performance to not give up 30 points in one of those games at one point. But if you put up 6, you ain't win anything. So that's all I got, Tim. I appreciate you taking my call.
Man, Steel City Film Room, I really appreciate your call, man. I've been rocking with him for a long time, man. Just kind of, you're stumbling across his channel. So I wanted to give you the time to speak. Thank you, first of all, for calling and watching. So y'all know how I do, guys. There's certain people who pop up in the chat, and we're going to give them their time because we appreciate everybody. But like I said, some of you guys call each and every week. So when I have the time, if I can plug somebody new in there, I will. I'm going to take a few more. The first one I'm going to grab is 505. Thank you for the donation. So I'm going to move him up the queue. Let me find you. There you are. After that, I'm thinking maybe 1 or 2 more calls. The order right now is 318 and 843. 505, what you got for us?
Hey, what's up, Sim? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Hi. So, I am very frustrated with not only Matt Canada, but also Mike Tomlin. Let me tell you why Mike Tomlin, okay? So this goes all the way back to 2014 through 18. We really should have been a dynasty with all that talent that we had. And the fact that we didn't because of, subpar coaching and the Steelers not being ready for teams that were below them in talent. But here's some other points that I have, okay? Joshua Dobbs, the current quarterback for the Arizona Cardinals, been our backup for years, right? He goes to Arizona, a team that is actually supposed to be trash, right? According to a lot of people, even myself, and they're looking way more competent than we are. But here's my big fun fact, okay? T.J. Watt passes James Harrison to become the all-time sack leader for the Pittsburgh Steelers. For the Pittsburgh Steelers, you know how many defenders that is? You know how much history he passed by being the all-time sack leader? I'm going to tell you what he doesn't have. A single playoff win. That's incompetence from this organization. I love Tomlin, but it's time for a new voice. Because him and also Bill Belichick are both going through the same thing right now. They've been there too long, and I think that Tomlin's time is up because you just need a new voice. Look at the Packers, first year with Aaron Rodgers, and they look competent. They at least look competent. We aren't even hitting the average base level of an offense in the National Football League. But I'm sure that I've probably gone a little too long. Thank you for taking my call, Sim.
Not a problem, man. Appreciate the call. Like I said, I can't debate opinions, about coaches and the organization, and we all have them. I will just say there's some variables in there. You know me. The Killer Bee era was that era that I felt like the Steelers, that was the time, that was the window. And some of y'all told me, oh, man, don't say that. I said, no, I think that was the window in the current Mike Tomlin era. And the truth of the matter is, in order for us to get back to that level, it's going to take a while. There it is. I said it. That's reality, folks. It's going to take a while for the Steelers, as we know them right now, to be even in the conversation of competing for a title. And that's more than just Tomlin. That's getting a team in play. I'll give you an example really quick, then we'll move to the next couple callers. Steelers are putting together, I think, a nice young nucleus of wide receivers. I think if these guys stay together a few years, the Deontay Johnsons, the Calvin Austins, George Pickens of the world, right? You got your running back situation, I think, kind of in place with Najee and Warren. Now you're trying to bring your quarterback along. Now we got to get the offensive line together, which the offensive line ain't doing no favors neither. Then you got to get on the defensive side of the ball, right? So what I'm saying is, when the Killer Bees were there, our offensive line was official. Super official. Offense was amazing. Defense was shoddy. We just haven't been able to get that complete team. Even looking at a team like Kansas City in recent years, man, they won Super Bowls, but a lot of times Kansas City's defense wasn't great. They found ways to win later in the season. So all I'm saying is, I try to stay away from comments or me saying competent and all of that. We're just saying that because of the results, man. Because again, I'm not making an excuse for anybody on that coaching staff, but y'all tell me. I want y'all to be honest. You tell me last year when we was 2-6, did you ever imagine that they would finish 9-8 in this close from making the playoffs? Tell me you thought that was going to happen when they was 2-6. And all I'm saying is a bad coach can't do that. I'm not grading him. I'm just saying bad coaches can't do that. They can't turn it around like that. So that's why I just said, we all have our opinions and it's cool. I respect them all. Next call is area code 318. Keep it quick, guys. What you got for me?
Well, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Well, all right. First, all I got to show love to both teams. They go out there and fight. But to get to the point, I think we kind of too hard on the defense. We playing terrible. I mean, we're not playing terrible. We're not playing great, but it's not as bad as it is on paper. Like, we're on the field, it seems like an hour. So I'm gonna just put that. We're gonna miss tackles. You know what I'm saying, when you're tired. So I'm gonna really cut the defensive slack, because if you look at it, 16-6. When we went for that dump play on 4th and 2, whatever, I honestly think we should have kicked the field goal. So, to keep that, make it a one-score game, you know what I'm saying, to keep the flow going. The offense, we already talked about that, dirt trash. But I will say I feel like we need to go to our tight ends more if we gonna pass.
Yeah.
What I really want to say with Mike Tomlin, people, I love Mike Tomlin, dog. I kind of want to cry, dog. It's just like, man, whatever y'all say, we going to fight. Losing by 30, 40, 50, I'm going to still watch the game. We're going to fight. We're going to fight, bro. Just think, we talking about the AB era, the Killer B era. Think about this. I'm young, bro. I'm young. I'm young. But think about the Miami Dolphin era, the Dan Marino era. Think about that. Think about the LT Phillip Rivers and Antonio Gates era. Think about, really, if excuse me, Peyton Manning should have won more in Indianapolis, honestly.
Yeah.
People miss those opportunities, and they look at us, and dog, I want to cry, man. It's just like, I love Mike Tomlin, dog. It's just like, if we get another coach, it could be so much worse. The game could be over in the first quarter, because you don't know how much respect we're going to have. Man, that's going to hurt the team if we let Mike Tomlin go. I'm not going to lie. I know probably is time for a change, but it's just like, it's going to hurt when it comes. But, hey, you know what I'm saying? It's life. But I'm just saying, y'all, it would be much worse. Man, my head is messed up right now. That's all I got to say, y'all. Y'all have a great night.
Man, appreciate the call like always. And yeah, the grass ain't always greener. So the day it comes when, you know, we do have a new head coach, I'm going to remember all of this. I'm going to remember all of this. But you know what I'm also going to do? I'm going to say, give this coach time. It's his first season. That's his second season. That's his third season. Hey, it's his sixth season. Because it could go that way. You never know. I think it's a lot of times it's more than what meets the eye, man. I think it's easy for us fans to assume a lot of things. But like I said, man, when you look at it from a collective, listen, the criticisms I definitely have on Mike Tomlin has been time management, challenges, and sometimes it seems like they don't adapt. They don't adapt early enough. You know, even times when we hear about them changing some stuff up, but like, why do y'all wait so long? Y'all stay in some of the same basic coverages and stuff too long. I think, again, loyal to a fault. I think he is loyal to coaches and stuff like that. But again, I told you guys, that's the organization doing that too. You know, I think it was Claude Bishop said, you know, how do you bring back an OC? They didn't bring back nothing. His contract didn't expire. That would require him to be fired. That's not, that's not on Mike Tomlin because I have not seen the organization do it. We didn't see him do it before Tomlin was a coach. So when y'all hear me say that, that's the evidence that I'm using. And even with that information, I don't know for a fact. But I feel like the organization weighs heavy on the coach's decision because we have not seen positional coaches or head coaches fired by this team. That's before Mike Tomlin. So some of that stuff ain't in his control, man. What he is in control of, though, is hiring from within. You need to stop doing that. There will be a new OC come next season. I would like it to be somebody who's not in the Steelers organization. Last call of the night, man. Area code 843. What you got for us?
Hey, it's Sade. How you doing?
Hey, Sade. What's up, man? How you doing?
Yeah, I had to definitely call on this one. So my whole thing is it's no in-game adjustments. It's like, it does feel like 0-4, you know? It's like we don't adjust in-game. We just don't adjust. We keep, like, hitting our head against the wall. Like, the box will be stacked, and we will try to run it up the middle. Like, the game plan makes absolutely no sense. It's like the definition of doing the same things over and over is insanity.
Yeah.
It's execution. I don't feel fat, sassy, or spoiled, Sam. I do not feel any of those things. And I haven't been for a long time. You know? Like, it's not even necessarily about winning, is how we lose. You know, like, if I saw some progress, if I saw our offense maybe getting 27, 28 points, I could feel like, okay, we're on the right path. We just feel stagnant. Like, everybody else's offense flows. Yeah. You know, the defense is just, man, Pat P getting burnt all over the place. Levi,
he looks slow out there.
Oh, my God. The secondary is getting burnt. The toast every week. It's like a repeat week after week. The same people getting burnt, the same people making the same mistakes. Kenny not picking up reads. It's like, eventually, when will you stop trying to do things that don't work? You could at least make adjustments within the scheme. You could at least call a better game. 4th and 1, that's ridiculous. Let's talk about that for a second. That's ridiculous.
Man.
Like, you finally get the run game working, and you say, oh, yeah, we're going to just pass it. Yeah, we're going to pass it, though. Let's play right here. Like, I would have felt better if you ran it and didn't get it. You know, at least you're trying to execute something. It's like we are living in our fears, which is the opposite of what we're supposed to be doing. So that's all I got to say. Thanks for taking my call.
Absolutely, Sade. Appreciate you calling. And it's what you said. It's like, it's really bad, man. It's really bad to see. It does appear that they just don't make adjustments. And like I said, the times that we've done it is so late off in the game. Like, why can't we just come out firing? Why can't we come out and drive all the way down? You know, I hate to say it, but why can't we have a game where the offense looks like it did in preseason? I get it. Some of them games it won't the number ones, but I remember the Buffalo game. That was their number one defense. And I get it, it's a little more vanilla, but even just the feeling that we had. again, some of you guys were saying, oh, that's because he ain't playing against nobody. But no, the boy decision making was there. His accuracy was there. So there's things about Pickett too that has regressed slightly. I do believe Canada is hurting him, and at times the offensive line, but I think he hurts the offensive line sometimes too, the way he bails into a sack. So it's a lot going on. But again, I'm just not going to buy into some of the notions that you guys are saying about the coaching staff. It's fine that you feel that way, but I'm never going to believe that. Now some people say, oh, there's no leadership. Come on, man. Stop it. Now, I don't know what's going on a day-to-day basis. I do not like the way this team is looking, but I just think some of you guys have the most unrealistic narratives that none of us can prove. And like I said, I look at reality. I just look at reality. I saw one of you guys say 2019 was one of Tomlin's best coaching seasons. That's what I'm saying, man. Bad coaches can't do that. I'm not saying he's an outstanding, great coach. I'm just saying some of the narratives that you guys try to create, it doesn't exist, because if it did, this stuff would be, you know what I mean? It wouldn't, the success rate, and I'm just talking about wins, that stuff would not happen. We've all seen bad coaches. It's just like Bill Belichick. Belichick is in a funk right now. Maybe the game is starting to outgrow. I don't know. Maybe it's because he doesn't have Brady. Or Josh McDaniels calling the offense. Or Matt Patricia calling the defense. Which actually, I think Patricia is on the staff now, but I don't even think he's the D coordinator anymore. You know, sometimes things does run its course. So that's what I will give to some of you guys who say it's time for a change. Who can argue that after 17 seasons? But I think some of the narratives that you create, and this is supposedly have been from day one since he's been the coach, like y'all are a little crazy when it comes to that. Matt Patricia's in Philly, see? So maybe that's part of the reason why, you know, Belichick ain't having the success. Because listen, let me tell you, I've seen it last year and this year. I've seen people say Bill Belichick is a bad coach. What? Y'all crazy. Y'all's crazy. But I love it. I love this conversation. I love all of the difference of opinions. I love it. I really do. I really do, man. It makes this show special. It makes our interaction special. None of this is personal. And like I said, you know, my voice is the one you hear mostly because obviously I'm conducting the show. So I'm just going to give my opinion. I respect all of your guys' opinions. I just, you know, again, you're tuning in to hear what I have to say. So sometimes I'm going to push back on some of the narratives, but I will never challenge how you feel about anybody. Is how you feel is how you feel. Round of applause to Kev. So nice, man. Appreciate that donation. Appreciate the donation. And let's see. You said Sim JP3, JP2, Joy Porter Jr. I think who you're referring to, needs to start. Let him take bumps and get his feet wet. And how you feel about Rodney Harrison trashing Zach Wilson? I think that's messed up. And Tomlin problem is hiring and within. Yeah, I didn't really. Yes, Joy Porter Jr. definitely needs to start. Like you said, at this point, just get him in there. Get him in there. Let him take one of those guys' spots and let him go through his lumps. You got to develop him, and we need him to develop quick. I didn't really see or really hear the Rodney Harrison comment. I just, you know, saw it on Big Bad X, as they call it now. Without me hearing it, I can't really give a real opinion. I mean, I do think it's kind of messed up in the sense of, y'all know, even here, I told y'all I vowed to not call a pro athlete trash. and even sometimes coaches, because I'm not doing it. There have to be a level of skill for those guys to be there. And I recognize that I'm a couch quarterback, if you will, the couch coordinator. A lot of us as fans always got the right answers, in our mind. And listen, we can say what we want about these coaches and coordinators. We have literally no idea. Literally no idea. And, we have no idea what it takes. So, we can just give our thoughts, but that's about it. As far as, Tomlin's, again, that's a Tomlin problem. And that's what I mean by loyal to a fault. And it's funny because I saw one of y'all comment, loyal to a fault, and something else you said. Which one is it? Two things can be right at the same time. Stability in the organization and loyal to a fault can be right at the same time. Like I said, the Tomlin era has given all of y'all, is the reason why all of y'all are in your feelings right now. Because they've been close. Or they always seem like they can almost get there. They almost make the playoffs and they didn't. They make the playoffs by a mile and they lose. But it's been stable. Again, when I'm talking about stability, I'm talking about organization. As far as loyal to a fault, that falls on Tomlin's shoulders if he continues to hire his staff from within, which is heavily promoted, I'm sure, by the organization. But again, if you have full control over your staff, that's on you. Two things can be right at the same time. Thank you, Deshaun Davis, for the donation. And see, these are the comments that cracked me up. You says, Bill 10 Super Bowls greater than Tomlin's no losing season. So at what point did we argue that? See what I'm saying? Sometimes y'all comments just be so left field. Like, who's debating any of that? I don't even know. What's your point? What's your point? So, I don't know. Oh, man, round of applause to Mr. Elman. Yes, it says celebrate the first super chat from Mr. Elman. Man, thank you for your donation. But I see y'all going back and forth about, like I said, man, do yourselves a favor. There's no need to argue back and forth about a coach or whatever. I mean, I'm not going to do it because nobody's mind is going to change. That's the unique thing about an argument, right? You feel your way, the other person feels that way. It's not going to change. So I've just decided to just remove myself from those conversations. I have my opinions. I'll share them with you guys. But I'm not challenging the way somebody else feels about a player and or coach. All right, a few more minutes, man, then I'm going to wrap it up. I was here quite long tonight, and that was purpose. It was on purpose because I knew we had a lot to talk about. Come on, give me a few. Is it Moxie Chu? I hope I'm saying that correctly. It says, we had stability for years, but is being mediocre for years worth it? With all the talent on the team. Great question. No, it's not. It's not. But again, remember, guys, when I say stability, I told you I'm talking about the organization. One thing that cannot go on deaf ears is these organizations and owners want to continue making revenue. When you have a team that's relevant, when you have a stoic franchise that continues to put butts in the seats, that's a part of the business too. So that's why sometimes you see coaches or organizations keep people around because they're relevant, right? I mean, look at Pete Carroll. Pete Carroll ain't did much lately neither, but it must be something about what he's doing there that I guess maybe quote unquote keeping them relevant. So that's what I'm talking about. See, I take my personal feelings out of it. I just try to bring it to you guys on a different perspective. That's what I mean when I say stability. I'm talking from the ownership. From the ownership, that's stability. Just think about that. Let's put it to the side and think about that for a quick second. You own a team and your team has not had a unwinning season, right? You have not had a losing season in 16 straight years. Cha-ching. Your name is always in the media because people expect your team to do better, expect your team to win the Super Bowl, expect your team to get to the playoffs. Why is it that way for 16 years? Stability. Why is it for 16 years? The media, nobody in the media, I'm talking about the real media, is talking about your coach's job should be up for grabs. Stability. So again, I'm just talking about from the Steelers standpoint, not us fans. What else y'all got? What else y'all got? Give me a couple more. Hey, there go Odessa. What's up, Odessa? Good to see you. Good to see you. Fellas, make sure y'all say hello to all of our lovely ladies in the chat. Daryl Dukes, welcome to the extended family. Appreciate that. You will see all 22 footage. All of my extended family members will see the all 22. I plan to try to get that out to you guys by Thursday. Pittsburgh Toddy says it's all about money. Yeah, man, it's hard for us to accept that as fans, but that's a fact. It's, you know, this stuff is business sometimes too, man. So you got to understand that side of the game. It sucks, but it's true. I wouldn't do it. I mean, because as an owner, I understand that, you know what I'm saying? As an owner, I understand that my team ain't going to win the Super Bowl every year. It's all about revenue. It's the same reason why the Cowboys are always relevant. Jerry Jones does everything he can to keep that team's name in everyone's mouths, especially the media. Oh my God. They cover the Cowboys every day. And they ain't won since before we won. And how many coaches have they had? You see? So it's, you know, the argument, like I said, at this point, at year 16, the debate, I'm not even going to say the debate, the conversation of is it time for the Steelers to go in a different direction is relevant just off of the sheer years. You know, regardless of what you think about Mike Tomlin, because if Mike Tomlin doesn't get his contract renewed after next season, he will be coaching somewhere. So it ain't even about that. I could still like Mike Tomlin, the coach, the man, even beyond being a Steeler, right? So it ain't about that. It's just sometimes, you know, hey, we've been doing this for 17 years at that point. Respectable conversation could be had. Like, yeah, maybe. Who could be opposed to that after 17 seasons? That's all I'm saying. And I think that's fair talk. I think we all should be able to acknowledge that. Even if you, like the guy, my man who called a little while ago, if you love Mike Tomlin, you gotta recognize, yeah, man, it's been 17 seasons. You know, I can understand why they want to do something else. But at the same time, you know, you should understand why the Steelers are not doing something different. This is their way. The Steeler way. All right, man. Let me see. Can I get another one? Steeler card says, at least Jerry Jones makes the necessary changes if coaches are underperforming. That's a fair point. But again, what have they won in the last 20 years? So this is, again, guys, why I say that's a perfect comment. Shout out to Steelers cards. This is a perfect point that I'm making. Take the Cowboys approach. They still haven't won. Take the Steelers approach. We haven't won. So there's no right answer here. What it is all of you, most of you in the chat, and I'm going to include us all in this. You're looking for that lightning in the bottle moment. You're looking for our next quarterback to be Patrick Mahomes. You're looking for the next coach to be Sean McVay. And I say McVay because of how fast he got to the Super Bowl and how he actually has won a Super Bowl. And how long has he been coaching? 6 years or whatever? That's what y'all looking for. You want that instant gratification. That is what you're looking for. And I get it because it's been a long time since we've been in the big dance. But if you look around the league, it doesn't happen so easily. That's just a fact. And here's the thing, Steeler Nation. We had our time. They ran the 70s. Then here come Ben in 2005. After that crazy rookie season. Then here we come right back. We get another one. Then here we come right back and we lose to Green Bay. And now they're just caught in the rut again. And that's not to absolve anybody because like I said, the Killer Bee era, we should have won a Super Bowl and we didn't. We should have. But I'm just saying, look around the league and look at all of the different coaches and all of that. And sometimes you get lightning in the bottle. You get Sirianni in Philly. Came at the right time. They have a boatload of talent. But it don't happen all the time. So, like I said, it's always a gamble. It's either the stability of the Steelers or take the Cowboy approach and you're still in the same boat. So, yeah, I don't know, man. All I would say is keep your heads up. Keep your heads up, man. All we can do is watch every week, be pissed off when we lose, be pissed off when people like Canada are still on the staff and give out criticism. But, man, you know, hopefully brighter days are coming at some point. Don't know when that is, but hey, they still my squad, man. Still gonna love them. But all right, man, that's my roll call right there, man. I'm up out of here. Appreciate everybody. Make sure y'all do this for me. Boom, 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 boom. Like, subscribe, turn on that notification bell. That is easy. That's easy. I shouldn't even have to ask for y'all to do that. That's easy. But outside of that, man, make sure you guys have a great, wonderful night. Stay safe. bless. Extended family members. I'm going to get that all 22 out for you. We're going to concentrate on Kenny Pickett in this one. We're going to concentrate on Kenny Pickett in this one. Shooting to get that released on Thursday. All right. So much love to everybody, man. Again, stay safe. God bless. Good night. And like always, I thoroughly thank you for tuning in to Terrible Towel Tuesday. Catch you in the next one. Peace.